Hi guys, and welcome back. On this video, we are going to cover the installation of Active Directory, DHCP, and DNS on Windows Server 2012. Let's get to it. On the left side of the screen, that is a representation of what our virtual network looks like. I built that using Packet Tracer. And on the right side of the screen, that's what our VirtualBox Manager looks like after we've installed the 4 virtual machines. I'm going to go ahead and rename the Win7 machine as Win7A, and then the Win7 clone at the bottom, I'm going to rename it Win7B. And please note that in your case, you would have installed Windows 7 twice. Don't clone, because if you clone, you're going to have a problem later on when the two machines are added onto Active Directory. They tend to clash because they have the same SID number. So don't clone. Now we are going to add all these 4 virtual machines into a single network. And we do that by connecting all the network adapters of each machine to the same network. We will select Win7B and go to settings. We click on the network adapter, and then we select the internal network. That's our network. That's the one you see there as 192.168.10.0. That is our internal network IP address. Then we click OK. Now we're going to Win7A virtual machine, and we're going to do the same. Click on settings and network adapter, then we change it to internal network. Then click save. Same thing with the Ubuntu machine. We are going to change the network adapter and attach it to the internal network, or the internet. Don't confuse that with internet. No, that's internet for internal network. So same thing with the server. We are going to attach it to the internal network, and we are going to assign a static IP address on this interface, whereas the rest of the machines will be running a DHCP configuration. And another thing, we have 2 adapters on the server. One is for the net, which connects to the internet, right, through our host machine. Just to make things a little clear, so we have 2 interfaces. One connects out to the internet, and the other one connects internally to the internal network. All right, now these are the features we are going to add on our Windows Server 2012: Active Directory, DHCP, and DNS. Okay, now we're gonna click on our Windows Server machine and click on the Start button to boot up our server. We are gonna wait for our server manager to load. But before we do anything, we need to change the name of our PC. So we're gonna go on the Start menu, click on the okay, on this PC, right click on this PC, right click properties, and then we are going to change the name. Right click on change settings, then we just type in the name that makes a little bit more sense to us than that a random generated name. So we don't have a domain yet, so we're not going to do anything on the domain. We're just going to leave it at work group, right? So for the effect to take place, we need to restart the machine. Now we are going to wait for server manager to load. There you go. Then we're gonna add roles and features. Next, click next. Now you can see our name has updated. Win Server 2012. That's good. Now we're gonna add Active Directory domain services. It's one of the features there. We add the feature. Then we're gonna go for DHCP server, the second one. We add that feature. Now we add the DNS, which is the third feature. We add. Then we click next, click next, click next, click next, and install. Now we're gonna wait for the progress bar to fill up. There we go. Now if you look closely, you'll note that we are requested to promote our server to domain controller. We need to promote this server and make it the domain controller. And we click on that, and we start to, oh yes, we're gonna create a new forest because we don't have any existing domain. We need to start a new forest, and then we're gonna call the root domain homelab.com, and you click next. Now it requests us to add this password. It requests you to add at least one special character. When you type the password, there should be at least one special character there, right? I've never had to use this password anywhere, but I still kept it somewhere safe, somewhere I can remember, so I would advise you to do the same. Just keep it somewhere safe, or if you can commit to memory, that's fine as well. Now we're just going to click next. And then next. And then we're just reviewing. Okay, there will be a few alerts or warnings, but this is normal, right? If you scroll down, you see there's a little green tick there that shows that everything is installed. So that's normal to get those warnings, or little amber alerts. Control Alt Delete. I'm sure there should be a quicker way to do this. You can leave a comment below for those who want to teach me a quicker way to go about that process. So yeah, now our server manager is loaded, and if you look on the far left corner, you will see that our services are not yet showing, but if you give it time, they should pop up any minute now. Wait for it. There we go. You see we have AD, DHCP, and DNS. Now we are going to assign a static IP address to the server's internal network interface. So we go to Control Panel, Network and Internet, Network and Sharing Center, and then we select our internal network adapter. Then we look at the details to confirm. Yes, if you look, we have an IP address. How do we know? It's a 169.254 blah 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 blah. That's the IP address. So we know that that is our internal network. So now we go to properties and IP version 4, and then we enter our chosen IP address. Our network is 192.168.10.0, so we're gonna give the server a 10.2, a 10.2, a 10.1 would be the default gateway. So that would be the router in a case where we have a router in the network. And then our preferred DNS, we're gonna give it the same IP address as our server, because that is our DNS server, right? Our Windows Server 2012 is also our DNS server, so we give it the same IP address. Now we're just gonna confirm that indeed our net interface is connected to the internet. And as you can see, all right, let me just put a little bit of a cloud there to make it clear that that's our way out to the internet. But if you look as well there, you see it's written internet. There is a connection, and if you look at the details, we have a default network IP address of 10.0.3.15. But you don't worry about that. VirtualBox assign that IP address automatically. So there we go. In the upcoming video, we will be going through the DHCP setup.